to a person who was told that they're good for nothing, and take the picture and send it to the parents. That will be my biggest accomplishment that I can do and provide for parents, because they want to be part of the community, they want to be part of the society, they want to be accepted the way they are, and help them to grow. So having residential, having workforce housing as well on the property, and we have a potential partner on that as well to build the housing to help them earn as much as independence as possible. But again, we have to be careful how we're doing that and how we're looking at it, because not everybody, it's like Nicky will never earn the paycheck.
Right.
So
there's all different ways
levels.
People are impacted.
But if there is mid to high functioning level person with disabilities, I don't believe in disabilities. I believe in abilities, and I think I said this in October. I don't. Everybody has his own abilities. Even Nicky has the ability to pull the weeds out, and this is going to be part of his therapy. But there are places we would love to have inclusive and make sure that it's open to community and they are part of the community, because they are humans like we are. They didn't choose to be the way they are. We need to accept them the way they are and help them to grow the best they can be. And for me personally, I want to die in peace knowing that Nicky and children like Nicky are taken care of, and they are in the best place on earth, and they are having home.
They have a chance for a life.
Yes. Like feeling lost, and this comes from personally not belonging anywhere right now and not having the homes, the sanctuary where, you build for 20 years and you lose that and you don't really belong anywhere. To have built something that you as an individual, doesn't matter from if you're having any disability or not, feeling that it's your home and you're building it and you're living it, I think it's important for mental health. It's important to being part of something, and just giving them that, and giving parents the peace of mind that their child will be taken care of, and they are in the best place that it can be, while not depending on the government. Is where our balanced revenue risk model comes from. And the core B side, we will have a profit and non-profit. We are having for-profit and non-profit. For-profit will generate revenues and supporting the non-profit if it's necessary, because of the government cuts, because of the tax for the donations. And it's going to get worse and worse. The way we're looking at it is, and this comes quote from somebody who actually responded to my email, said this is perfect example of the capitalism for social good. We do not want to be dependent on the government, because to dealing with the government agencies and be worried all the time what new government brings, it's not something that I want to add the stress to the corporation or the residents or the employees or anybody else. So we can figure out how we can work and create a sustainable revenue generating model that supports a nonprofit, which nonprofit will only be taking care of the people with, in the residential, and they don't have to clean. We're going to subcontract everything to the profit one, which nonprofit side is going to be only the care for the people with the different abilities. That is the main goal of Nicky's Gardens of Hope and NGOH combination of, and then within a year we can change to Core B.
That's pretty unique.
Yes.
That's really never been done before.
Right now, as we can tell, and we've been visiting different residential facilities, we're the only one who is combining. There are hospitals who are turning to Core B. We were told on pretty much every single meeting we go to that is the most genius ideas that they heard, and everybody wants to, want us to work with them and help them to see if they can go and create a for-profit, non-profit. So it's a unique combination for sustainability and stability of the project, because we're talking 40, 50, 60, 100 years, who knows how long, and we have to make sure that everybody's taken care of. And when we're looking at the pricing, there's 2 different levels. We will have an endowment. we will have scholarships for people who cannot afford it. I want to make sure that.
So you're going to accept adults with IDD and autism, and it won't be so expensive.
No.
It'll be based on their ability to pay.
Yeah, so it's going to be, there's going to be free. There's going to be some that have to pay a little bit. And, there's going to be different level that people can pay actually full through the private health insurance but again, we want to make sure that if you cannot pay and we can take care of your adult child the best we can, we will make sure that we will figure out how to cover the cost, because it's not fair. There are people who do have money and they can afford it, but there are people that they cannot, and it's not fair to the child or the family. As we know, to care for a child with disability, it's expensive. The medications, sometimes you need to spend hours with the Medicare on the phone because they don't want to cover something that is actually life-threatening to your child.
Right.
Just system alone, you need a full-time job just to deal with that.
Yep.
So then one parent, if you have to make a choice, one parent cannot work because they need to take care of the child and dealing with all the bureaucracy and stuff and on all those agencies who are, pardon my language, 50 years behind the technologies.
It's hard to get any traction.
Because there's no communication between the government agencies. Everybody's for themselves. If they would combine and create a communication systems that I don't have to go to Medicare and I don't have to go to Red Doors and I don't have to go to OPWDD. I can just go one agency that everybody actually collect all the data, put in one system. It will cut the time and and even money for the government, come to think of it, because they don't have to pay 20 people to do the job for one person.
Right.
Yeah, so again, this is where our money goes to. But it's hard it is. I mean, you spend time with agencies on the phone over and over and you're repeating yourself 20 times and you get the papers, you fill it out everything, you drag literally your child to a doctor because you know how hard it is to even take him out, especially like, somebody like Nicky. You send everything and then you never heard from the agency again. And then you go try to the different agency and it's just frustrating and you feel like you're alone and you feel like there's no way that you can win
and your kid's life could be at risk. I think it's a stressor. It's a stressor that you live with every day from the minute your feet hit the floor till you go to bed at night. You never know what could be around the next corner, and there's nothing that addresses this, and I think that the impact on society long term is going to be devastating. We're marginalizing huge groups of individuals, and Adriana has the vision for a solution that not only fills in all the gaps and creates opportunities for businesses and jobs, so somebody could actually have an intellectual disability and work at a business that's on site and get a paycheck, and also have a program where they are working, integrated work therapy.
It's pretty much combination of all, and I think the one thing what we're looking to have is integrated system.
Yes.
Right, and we want it to make it as easy as possible on parents, but at the same time we want to make sure that parents are involved in the child, because it's, we don't know them as good as the parents know.
Right.
And it will be more beneficial if parents are honest and say, this is what tricks my son off, if, loud noise, to make sure that loud.
Right, and a lot of times parents aren't listened to. I think as your kids get older, there's almost a fear that the parents are going to be over-involved and create problems for whatever service provider there is. And I can see why that might be a concern, but with, especially with mental health issues, I just think that the more that the parent can be involved in a way that they feel like they're not threatened, they don't feel afraid that if they are truthful that they're going to lose something. Something's going to be taken away.
And the one thing that Jill and I are looking to work on is having support group webinar, which is not going to be recorded. So you can vent as much as you want. You can put your concerns, and we can work and help together, because we think that support of the parents, mothers and fathers and grandparents and a caretaker to each other is very important. and you don't want to feel that you're alone in that world. And we're looking at having maybe starting once a month or so, having
we're gonna
just literally having
a bitch session. Whoops, I said a session.
Pretty much, yes.
A venting, a webinar, and
but it's not gonna be recorded. We don't want to have anything recorded. I want to make sure that people feel comfortable, just say what they think and what their fears are and what they need, and if they had a shitty day, just vent for 5 to 10 minutes, and we can start with 5 to 10 people, and if we're gonna grow, we're looking also having little groups in Massachusetts and in New York to having meetups, and the same thing, just vent. I think venting sometimes it's a good way to go. Especially when you don't have a family that you can go and vent to because they think you're one crazy person who...
Well, the weight of it over the years, I think that families tend... Nobody wants to hear you complaining about your kid. So, so we actually have some dates, so you should be looking for information on upcoming parent online support group kind of format, and Adriana's going to be leading that, and I think that it will be a good way to hear more about what your concerns are and what you're struggling with. And we both are parents of impacted differently, but it's still, in a lot of ways, it's the same. You feel alone. You feel a loss of community. There's really other parents, their concerns seem, I don't want to say trivial, because I don't think it's trivial, but it's a different path.
And it's hard, and again, you feel alone, you feel lost, and you feel isolated, and you feel that, nobody understands what you're going through. So having the support group alone, and it's no charge to that. It's still trying to figure out how we can put as many people as we can on a webinar, and there's going to be more information on that as we go on. But honestly, the only thing what I wanted to have that is just to support one another. And if this is going to go well, we can do every other week. And we're just trying to figure out what people feel comfortable with, what their fears are, what their needs are, if you had a bad day, like I can have a bad night because of Nicky had accidents and I have to go at 4 o'clock in the morning to the laundromat because I live in New York, which we don't have a laundry in the buildings. Just having bad day, you can just vent. And again, we're making sure there is no judgment, there is no recording of it, there is nothing. It's whatever it is at that second, that it is.
Yep.
So just look it up for the information on that. And Jill is working on her TSC talks together with Nicky's Gardens of Hope.
Hoping to have all kinds of guests coming up, and I think the YouTube channel that
we're trying to create, and having guest siblings talking to others, just having conversation how it is. And again, one of my twins probably going to interview another twin, so that should be interesting.
So right now you are doing a lot of fundraising and getting impact investors involved.
Donations. So we're getting donations and impact investors group for investments and a loan for the property. Just want to make sure that you are aware we're not sitting and just talking, not doing anything. We do have meetings with potential partners, goals. We're traveling. I mean, I think I made it this year already around 45,000 miles, which is
all over the place.
Traveling up and
all
down.
The time.
But it's a good thing because people wanted to hear. And the saddest part of going on meetings is that every time we're on a meeting, there's always somebody who is affected somehow with the same issues, that their child or their nephew or niece or somebody they know is reaching the point of the cliff. And the cliff, when we looked it up statistics and looked it up different reports, the government funding gets cut 65%, which is, I still don't understand where their thinking is.
That
in
someone's
their
supposed to be all ready to make it independently by that time with a disability.
Well, in their mind, if we give you services for 21 years,